Hello and welcome to the Forgeborn Finishing School. I'm Kckid and I'll be analyzing Forgeborn battles to help take your game to the next level. Hey everyone, back again with Koar. Recently got out of the Denver Ultimate Championships where we played in the finals for a rematch and my chance for redemption. Justice Blinded was nice enough to provide the footage to us so we can give our perspectives of the match. So with that, let's step into it. Here we go, just getting ready for the match to get started. At the beginning of the game, there was a little bit of time discrepancies for the finals, so we're just kind of getting that figured out. And then we're going to jump right into this match.
He's being generous. I forgot to put in my results from the previous match.
That is fun. I think you can see that on the screen right now. You're at the results page trying to get that figured out so that the church, the people's champ, our TO, is so that he could set the time and get the match going.
Yeah.
But we had already rolled off for Forge, I believe, so you're on the Forge here, ready to go. And we'll see what... There we go.
Starting with the Spring Dryad.
Yeah, with your Spring Dryad instantly in my hand, I am looking for if there's a way to remove it. If I can remove it, that's what I'm going to attempt to do because... if you play a creature and get a health proc, that could mean some free spell, Primal Surge, Zerat's Will, you name it. But looks like I just had a Torgmai, so that's going to be a good trade out for me. I'm going to kill your Spring Dryad at combat at least and survive as it currently stands.
Yeah, Spring Dryad gives me an interesting options here. I don't remember what's in my hand. I may have just been leveling it up, but again, yeah, if I play a creature and gain health, I can play Extra's Will or Swamp Moss. Here I'm just gaining health, and I think this is from our game in the Swiss round. I was like, I just need to get up in health and not have that risk of being below health, and I'm leveling up 2 important cards. So
yeah, I think with the prelims I was able to drop you below 50 and keep you there kind of, and shut off the Swamp Moss. So yeah, that's probably a good play. Just jump up a bunch of life. I follow up with the Glow Hive here. And then, ooh, that's a really nice start for me with Primal Surge to actually trade out. While stop some extra damage.
Yeah, and you were in the back row getting the buff on him. So yeah.
Torgmai Guardian, that's a card that I played in the recent Grandfather's Pop-Up tournament, and I had one match where it just went off all 3 levels and got absolutely massive. So a fun card in the right circumstances.
I mean, we just played just a game trying out some stuff, and it crushed me.
Yeah, definitely any card like Summoning Councils, Transcendent Biologist, things that drop out a lot of cards when it's on an off-forge turn. That can be really awesome for Torgmai. Looks like I lead out with my Soothing Ravager, which is kind of a built-in puzzle solver. It gains life and then has the ability when you gain life this turn to get a little bit bigger, so 4/6 at level 1. So
I'm dropping Lyra, and that looks like my keeper.
Yep, definitely that keeper.
So again, just trying to get cards leveled up, knowing that our games tend to go a little bit long against our 2 decks, both with their ability to last a while. Just trying to get an advantage in silver and gold cards, but
Yep.
you just respond back with getting an extra card leveled up as well.
Yeah, and I do Soul Reap, which brings the keeper into trade range. He does gain some attacks. It's a magnivorous keeper, but essentially brings it into trade range of my Ravager. And because of the Glow Hive, it gets bigger. My life, I gain some life back from the Spite Maiden loss of life. So pretty good use of the card overall. I think Spite Maidening into a Soul Reap.
Now, yeah, switching, just clearing out the Lyra.
Okay, hoping to push through some damage.
Yeah, you got a lot of damage on the board showing. And I'm hoping I have Circe's Call in my hand. No, Rude Fang, but I did lose a creature, so.
Yep, so that's pretty good. Yeah, I think I don't know if
And
if
then
it would have been better to go off with against the keeper, but yeah. And there it is, free swamp moss.
Swamp
Nice.
Moss because I got the life gain on that first turn.
This digital tracker from Ox is really nice for anyone that hasn't played with it. It it makes the game really smooth. No fiddling with dice. You just push some buttons and show your health. It's really
Yeah,
nice.
I can't wait till the Kickstarter goes live on that. I will definitely be getting at least one of them. It makes it just even just take it to tournaments to have access to it. I
Yeah,
don't have a local scene, but
I was thinking, yeah, for my local scene, I mean, there's 4 to 6 people, I would say, on any given time. So having one of these, even maybe 2 of these would be really nice to just make games go much, much smoother.
I think I'm even though you got a 12-4, I feel like I'm in a pretty good position here having the keeper, which can get bigger, as well as just give more hit points onto my beast, and then having the Brood Fang's always good.
Yeah, and the Keeper Broodfang's a nice little combo because Broodfang's one of those things that I just need to remove first before removing anything else, right? And the Keeper keeps buffing up its health.
Yeah, so here I go. I'm gonna just increase it.
Yep, and then take out that 12-4 Glow Hive with
Yep.
the Vyrix.
So at this point, we're what? Yeah, 50, 57, 56 hit points. So now you're getting a guy in place to
Yep,
try to challenge the Brood Fang.
and that's the Kindred War Tusk. So for me, that's a pretty pivotal card to try to hit at each level. Every time I gain life, it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So we'll see
Yeah,
if
it's
we
already
can.
on a good platform.
Yeah, I do think the War Tusk is my favorite Kindred body. To be honest, like there's a lot of good utility Utera creatures, like a Batterhide that could be Kindred
Batterhide.
and things like
Yeah.
that. But this War Tusk, the stat line of 3/7 makes it very hard to remove instantly. You're talking Botanimate, Dreadbolt, Disintegrate are probably like the 3 cards in the game that could take it out in one turn before it's allowed to gain health and get bigger.
Yeah, Cersei's Call. I played a spell earlier. Play two. Just get two creatures out there, and it levels it up. More importantly,
Yeah, Cersei's one of those cards that it's like exponential returns each level. It just gets better and better. And the third level is a free card, which is amazing.
yeah, at a minimum, it's a free brute.
So I respond with the Vyrix just to lower the Brood Fang. I'm going to take a little bit of damage here, but to get it off the board.
Yep.
And that Brood Fang, for anyone out there playing, like I said before, it's one of those cards where you have to target that thing first, right? You can't kill the other opponent's creatures unless it's a real big card, maybe like a Dark Heart Sorcerer, that type of thing, because the Brood Fang, you kill anything else, it's just going to tap and then reduce your board state. So you really have to find a way to clear it off the board before you can start to work on the rest of your opponent's creatures.
Yeah, no, well, if I can get the Dreadmaw out, because with the Brute Fang and another just zombie, for instance, you can just the zombie with the Dreadmaw and then trigger the Brute Fang.
Right, right. So sacrifice the zombie minion with the Dreadmaw, pumps the
Yep.
Dreadmaw, and then on the same motion, you can tap the Broodfang to reduce the opponent's creatures or remove one.
Yep.
So here we go into cycle 2, 55, 56. Board states, you know, I would say maybe in my favor, even though you got 2 guys, just because of the Kindred. But honestly, I
Yep.
feel like you've leveled up so many cards that I'm probably behind a little bit at this point.
We might have leveled about the same amount though, because when I played the Lyra, you played, um, you got an extra one in there too with the following piece. So
Yeah, I did get the Primal Surge for free. I don't think I
yeah,
got a Zaras or a Swamp Moss.
I did get the Swamp Moss, so that's
Yeah,
pretty big.
Swamp Moss is a very, very strong card for being a freebie. So here I play a Sigmund Fraud. I think I will
Not a
say
play
in
for you.
what's that?
It's not a normal play for you.
No, so if you're seeing me play a Sigmund Fraud with this deck, then I'm either in a very interesting situation where I need an aggressive creature, and it's always good to have an aggressive creature in your deck for those situations, but it probably means I don't have the most optimal plays.
So
So
here's my second keeper, the level 2 keeper. So
yeah, that's just a really big health stat line too at the 10. So really, there's no conceivable way in my deck, I don't think, to gain enough health outside of a Dizzy and Siphon into a Soul Reap to get that Kindred big enough.
yeah, you'd have to get both those cards to get the 3 hits.
So it looks like I have a Dizzy and Siphon and a Spite Maiden and maybe a Primal Surge. So a Primal Surge potentially could do it. So here's what I must have been waffling on, is that 5 damage, because that gets me close down to the level 1 Swamp Moss, but Dizzying's going to get me back up. I was probably thinking very hard about this because of what that did for your Magnivorous Keeper.
Yeah, buff them up.
Right.
And then
just fighting a losing battle.
yeah, I think at this point you're thinking on whether or not you're going to sack something. No, you shouldn't play that, because that gets them up high enough.
Yep. So basically, what I'm deciding to do here is trade the Kindred for the Keeper, because what
Yep.
I don't want you to do is play a Broodfang, and buff it and just keep buffing it, keeping it on the board. And you have a couple other beasts as well, like the Glow Hive would be real bad too, to allow you to just keep buffing that.
Yeah, I don't think this one has a. I don't think if my deck has a. I don't think my deck has a Glow Hive.
Oh, okay. There you
The other
go.
ones I've been playing against you recently have.
That's what it is. I've played
Yeah, I
against
got a.
this deck so many times, but yeah, we have been playing a lot of other decks recently.
So I had a Forge Seal in my hand. Choose to wait on it. I don't. I think at this point I've only played like 2 or 3 spells. But I don't get a big Vesperian.
Yep, and there's that Keeper coming into effect, which is
Yep,
pretty
it's adding
nice.
help to it. So gonna lose there. Gonna trade, and then I still have a pretty significant creature on that side.
Yeah, so it looks like you had Mantis and Forge
And
Seal,
Forge Seal. Yeah, what I had played only a couple spells. I think it was 2 or 3.
which and in your deck, the longer you can hold on to that, that's probably preferable, right?
Yeah. Well, it depends. Like I think if I would have had like 6 spells, I probably would have went off and buffed the keeper.
Oh yeah, keep that one on the board. Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes
but
sense.
it just wasn't worth it. And how our games go, um, yeah, drawing in the Soul Reap, that's that that's a strong play, especially when we already have a beast on the board.
Yep, yep. I'll
God,
remove it, so we're just kind of trading
remove it.
creatures and health here.
We're still sitting both above 50, uh, and clean boards. So I didn't really use Dreadmaw all tournament.
Yeah, and looking over at my hand, I see the Utera charge. I, I like how I just kind of put my hand out there, like, well, I have no other. I have to remove that, right?
Yeah.
So, um, because cycle 2, you do have Dark Forge Strain. Even if you don't have a ton of spells, even that much on a stealth creature, at this point, I just have to remove it and move forward.
Yeah, I think I was placing it and then just hoping to like boost it up next turn, and because I could have boosted it there, but I was like, well, next hand I can probably play a spell or two and that'll get it more.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Primal Surge, you're probably not killing it, and then you just kill it anyway. So
It's funny. We always make those throughout the course of game. There's 2 or 3 of those pretty big risk versus reward. Like, do I play cautiously or do I play risky?
yeah,
And that's where you kind of did the math in your head, and you said, well, I'm going to take the risk and try to get it a little bit bigger, which it didn't pan out for you. But ultimately, I do feel that was probably a subpar play from what I would have wanted to do. So you knocked me off a potential play line by doing it as well.
Had I done that, you would have probably taken a different action because you wouldn't have been able to remove it. And then what's funny is we'll go through this here, but yeah, I made a really bad mistake here coming up. Yeah, so again, getting that Swamp Moss played in the first cycle was huge because I can just drop a big body in front there, which will probably be able to remove it. Oh, yeah,
Right. So then you Viric straight into mine, so that more or less
we'll trade.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. I would need 2 sources of healing. Not impossible, but I just discarded Soul Reap from the last turn, so that's my double heal.
Yeah, you wouldn't. Yeah, because you wouldn't be able to Discian and then into something else.
Right. So it looks like I do Soothing Ravager, pumps my guy enough to trade with yours, but then I lose my level 2 Kindred, which is pretty painful. But this is where
that's a huge trade for me right there.
Yeah, absolutely. But level 2 Soothing Ravager, I love this card. This is where it comes online, right? At level 1, 4/6 is not a bad creature stat line at level 1, but at level 2, 10/14 is just absurd.
Yeah, it's.
There are plenty of times in this deck where Soothing Ravager may not be the best play in my hand, but it's never a bad play at level 1. I'm going to throw it out every time because it unlocks the 10/14.
Getting sources called leveled up, getting 2 creatures, which works.
Yep, so here we go. Health 59-65, still fairly close.
Yeah, and then here's the big boo-boo is I could have Darkforged Drain. I completely forgot about it. After I put in the Ixian Dreadmaw and then you killed it, it threw me off and I was just like, and then I didn't play it.
I remember about a turn or two ago you were lamenting about how few spells you had played, and I'm just sitting over there like, oh, boo-hoo, so rough, It's just kind of funny, but so your mind was on it the entire time. You're right. I think you played the Dreadmaw and I took it out, and then it just kind of
evaporated out of my mind.
Yep.
And then I played 3, I think it was 2 or 3 spells there, which I would have, been able to do a decent. I probably would have traded or even survived. I would have survived and killed the Ravager had I played Darkforged Drain at that point.
Right, yeah. It would have been, somewhere in the magnitude of an 18-18 to 24-24. That's just a rough guess on my part.
Yeah, and I think it's coming up at this point. You'd be like, you did Darkforged Drain, and I was just like, oh, come on.
Yeah, definitely me trying to get in your head. Like I'm checking all the things you are or you aren't doing. No. So I look down at my hand. I see a Torgmai, the level 3 Ravager, and a level 3 Virix. Looks like, which being off Forge, that level 3 Virix is really normally a good place to have it. To be have that responsive 8 damage, gain 8 health type of thing. Oh, and you have the level 3 Virix.
I just have the Virix as well.
So now that puts me in a real bad position because you didn't play a big creature. Oh, okay. Well, you did buff this guy. So that gives me a good candidate to drop my level 3 Ravager behind. I'm assuming that's what I'll do. So that I can save the reaction of the Virix. But
2 primal. Yeah, there's the big Ravager.
Yeah, and so I'm doing that specifically to save the Virix, right? If you play a creature here, my hope is that it's 8 or less health.
Play my Express Will, level 1.
So here you're counting spells. Yeah. So it is going to be more than 8 health. That's where. So now there's a decent likelihood I don't play Virix. We'll see. So the math that's going through my head is, if I gain 8 health, I deal 8 damage, and then I take a bunch. Is that better than me dropping a 6/7 Torgmai in front of you, taking no damage, and then just dealing 6 to your creature? To me, the creature blocking probably makes more sense.
That's what, plus 20, plus 20 on this brute.
Oh, okay. So you drop it over there. Yeah, my thought would be you were going to drop it on the 3/3, but yeah, there's a good opportunity to just remove the Ravager.
Yeah, I think I got 5 shields on there because I was level 2 primal.
Yeah, which is quite a bit. So let's say I Vyrix it, that brings it down to 23. And then,
Still not enough.
right, the Ravager would bring it down to 9, which is in potential killable range, but yeah.
So you do that.
Yeah, so in my head, mentally, I'm counting your amount of Dark Forge drains, and now you're down 2 of them. So I gotta clear this thing. And there's my Swamp Moss. Nice. Good timing.
And we're at 73, 72. We're just going up in health this whole fight.
Yeah, and this is odd because normally in these two decks, like we exchange some pretty big punches early,
Yeah.
generally one of us or the other, and that kind of sets the tone for the game. But in this one, we kind of just block out, and it's a escalation of health.
Yeah, we're just like, well, I'm just gonna clear the board. I'm gonna clear your board. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. So there's 9, right? Yep. There we are. And I think we were looking at my Forgeborn. You were taking a peek at it, and essentially it does, I think, 8 damage or 6 damage. And it's, you're just outside of that. So I think that's what we were talking about a little bit before.
Oh,
And
yeah, it should be lower, right? Because it's 23 to 14. Oh, oh yeah, 9. Yeah.
yeah. I think when you misclicked before and dropped it a little bit, that made me think, oh, I would just pop my Forgeborn. But I had done the math before in my head. I think nine is right, and so we'll see where we settle here. Yep, just doing all the math.
Yeah, and we're talking about scenarios, or even possibly, or you're thinking about doing what you wanted to do.
And this is a moment that I'll take. So I've been hearing a lot, essentially, a lot of players that say, in these tournaments, if you play a card, it's done, it's stapled down, there's no take backs. And like, I understand that. I'm not going to say I don't, and I know this is going to be kind of a hot take, but even in these tournaments, if you put a card down and you just instantly pick it back up, I'm personally not going to say a thing. I'm okay with that 100% because you did nothing that changed my state, right? If I feel like you're fishing and you're trying to think with your cards out in the open and like gauge my reactions, then of course I would say something. But yeah, that's just my opinion. If you play against me in an Ultimate Championship and you drop down a Forge Seal and you go, oh no, I don't want to do that, and then you turn around and do a Vyrix Embrace, no skin off my back, go for it. That's one of the things I love about this game is that everything you do during your turn, like I have no instance to affect it, no control, right? So
Yeah, you don't have any agency, so you're just like, yeah, just do what you need to do and think about it and work it out because there's some complex stuff, and then especially when you're in a tournament, sometimes you just especially when
yeah,
you've been there all day, like playing at a high level, it's draining.
it's one of
So
the
yeah, I
beautiful
think
things about this game.
we want a good match, right? Like so we looked over the match and just like, yeah, dude, this is the right thing. So
Right, and I think there's a point at the end of this match, like the very last, I don't remember it fully, but the very last hand of this game, like I am literally talking through my plays because it's the last play of the game, right? Essentially, I'm talking through my plays and figuring it all out. And I see your board state. And I'm like, well, if you draw these things, it's over, and you do the same. We'll get there. Sorry, I shouldn't be
yeah,
jumping the gun here.
yeah. So I got a nice, again, not the best combo, but I'm able to buff the Brood Fang, keeping it alive longer, giving it hit points every turn. So if I can keep those alive, that's huge. And then the Keeper is just a huge body right now that's able to weather the. Is that your level 3 Kindred War Tusk?
It is, yeah, and it's just a beautiful timing to get that combo right. The big guy in front of it to hold it at bay, and then the Broodfang to just keep lowering my Kindred back down.
Yeah, I'm going on Forge next, so I'll be able to boost the Broodfang up in health again. I'm gonna take. Yeah.
Yep. So I'm off Forge here, and it looks like I had to discard Wrath's Will and maybe another free life card. I didn't see it 100%, but. So here we go into combat. Let's try to start to lower the health on that Broodfang, knowing it's kind of a futile fight here.
Yeah, we're down to 65 and 78. I don't know what point it was. This is we're in the
Yep.
third cycle. Was it the third cycle or fourth cycle where we thought that we only had like a turn or two left?
Yeah. So it was turn 1, I think, cycle 4.
Okay.
Yeah, they came over and said, "Hey, that's time in the round, so you got one more hand," and we'll talk about that maybe a little bit after this action. But yeah, it definitely threw me for a loop. Because right now, like in my mind, I'm seeing this like play out. Right, I'm at 78, you're at 65, and I'm like, okay, I don't know that I can hold on 3 more turns after this, but I know I can probably hold on for another round unless you do the Mantis onto a stealth creature and punch in the one big hit, right? So in my mind,
here. Yeah, and that wasn't Church who had said that either. So.
no, it was not the TO, so I should not have taken that as it was. But it didn't really affect my play. It just in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it changed kind of like me too. I was just like, okay, well, I gotta, because at that point in time, like, I was like, well, I gotta figure something out, because, yeah, Cersei's call here for just 1, buffing, just the Broodfang, and then bumping all my guys up in health.
Yep.
And gaining health.
A 520 Broodfang. I don't know how to deal with that. That's pretty good.
And I think we're also at this point like talking about like how many more Dark Forge range you got left.
Right, as you're staring at the Mantis in your hand. That's pretty funny.
Well, I technically could depending on my hands, I could actually trigger that twice because I have lead the charge in the deck.
Oh yeah, yep. Okay, so we go with the Glow Hive, pump up the Kindred. So as it stands now, with nothing changing, it would have traded out with the Keeper, but
here comes the Mantis.
Yep. Let's lay out the half a deck of spells here.
Well, it's at least 10.
Yeah. Yeah, going straight into the Keeper, right? That's the only call right there, because you take my one of my biggest threats of my entire deck off the board.
Off the board, yeah, and then it allows me just to keep any beast I have much better, and then, yeah, it's just a huge threat now at this point.
Right. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I just have to chump block this till the end of the game, and then somehow stay above you in health. Right. That's probably where my win condition exists. So I stop worrying about buffing your Keeper. Maybe I shouldn't have done the attack to it, but and just trying to gain health and lower your health to get higher. Okay, so I mean, I get up to 20.
Yeah, you get it.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
getting it down to range.
It's only got 4 hit point left. It means it dies next turn likely.
Yep.
And the Broodfang now is going to move down to a 5/5, right? So you trade with that if I don't do anything else. But I'm on Forge, so I don't have anything.
Yep. So really nothing dies except my level 3 Kindred, and I really do a pretty good job of weakening your board down.
Yeah, and right now you got a 20 points health advantage. So, but I do have the better board state. I mean, we're going to trade across, and I'll still have something left alive, likely. But
Right. And your level 3 Virix is out, but I don't think your Soul Reap is, so that Glow Hive's definitely in a removable range. All right, count out our cards. All right, so everyone.
played gold already, so.
Yep. When you go into the cycle 4, everyone's trying to count to 20, and then for a second you go, well, why do I have 19? Oh,
yeah.
I played 1 gold, so you got to count those as well. Which is really for a cycle 4. I think we each played two gold, maybe. I'd have to go back and watch. I'm pretty bad at watching this after the fact, but I think we each played Virix.
I played Magnivorous, Virix,
yep.
and Cersei's.
Oh, okay. So I think I played.
I think I played Cersei's. I think I just did it for a free 1 zombie. Trying to get the health totals, lowered.
All right. So I'm looking at the level 2 Terra Charger, the Glow Hive, level 2, I think, as well. I'm on Forge. And this is right where I think, honestly, someone comes over and says, hey, time in the round. So in my head now, I'm really crunching the numbers, and I was like, oh, okay. Like, there's almost no way, except for you going on Forge and getting a stealth creature, but, your Dark Force Drain is down. It's not coming back.
Yep.
So in my mind, okay, I just have to hold on to the health advantage lead for 2 rounds, this one and 1 more, and I've got this game pretty well locked up, and it felt pretty good.
Yeah, I was actually thinking I had a chance because I heard that they told us, and I was like, well, I have my +10/+10, and I think I can whittle you down enough on the next turn if I can keep them alive, and then you just gained 6 hit points, and I was just like, well, I think my margin went out the window.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't think it really changed my plays as much, but maybe I would have put that Glow Hive in a lane. And I don't know what else is in my hand if it would have survived, so unlikely, but.
So hopefully I make the right call and do it to the one over the Broodfang. Not the Broodfang. Doesn't really matter, I guess.
Yeah, at this point you're just. Yeah, they're both gonna trade already
without gaining health. I think if you saw Primal Surge, then the right call would have been the other one. Because even if you Primal Surge the other Glow Hive, he still trades. But if you Primal Surge this Glow Hive, you keep him alive.
Yeah. Oh, well, the Primal Surge, you wouldn't turn that off with the
battle. Oh yeah, I wouldn't turn that off. Yeah. We just kept him. Yeah, never mind.
So here's where I, essentially Terra Charger, take the Broodfang off the board. This goes back to it's got to be the first thing you remove.
Yeah.
Because if.
Yep. Yeah, you're able to remove both of them. Yeah, that's huge.
Yep, and so you sending the Glow Hive back did help there.
Yep. Well, even then, the 15 is more damage than the 6, so.
Oh, true. Yep. So essentially, you probably have to block this, because I think at this point we still think the game's over next round. I think it was.
I just looked at my phone, so maybe I think we just talked about it and said, "Oh, is that the case?" And then we sent to go check.
Yeah, I think it was right at the end of this phase where we're like,
"Yeah,
it's not over."
Because I didn't know if it was off of that, if they were tracking it separately, or.
Yeah. All right. So there's my level 1 Zerath's Will, just to block out 8 damage. And then the massive Swamp Moss that I cannot allow to hit me ever. Well, I guess I could take 1 hit.
Maybe take 1 hit even in the 4th cycle. That's game.
Yeah.
when I'm
Yeah.
at 75. But
Uh, One cool note for Ank's tracker: if you do hold it, it goes up by fives at a time. So that's a good note for those that are watching it and just said, in your head it flashed off, oh, I have to click this 75 times. No, I think you can't hold it, which is really nice. We found that out when we had to get the swamp moss up to like a 80 or something last time.
yeah, swamp moss on swamp moss. Yeah, so
Okay.
I had the extra wheel, which was big.
Yep, allowed you to trade out or block everything essentially. So then there we go. I had a Delver and maybe my Sham. No, not my Shambler. My Skeleton. So really, we just kind of cleaned the whole board except for just on my side. And then my Glowhive stays because he pushed it back.
Yep.
So this is now turn to cycle 4, getting really close to the end here.
Up on hit points. I think at this point we realized that the time wasn't there and that we were just going to be playing till end.
Yep.
So play a level 2 Spring Dryad.
Which tells me potentially that, even at this point, both of our decks are maybe starting to bleed out of good cards, which starts to happen towards the end of the 4th cycle.
Unless I have a Primal Surge in my hand. I can't see my hand, but
yeah.
because I could play a creature and then Primal Surge it for free, and I at some point I play a Dreadmaw. I play a Dreadmaw, I believe, and then I think maybe the Primal Surge comes after that because I don't know why. I mean,
Yeah, that's a good point. Just like your opening play of the game when you played the Spring Dryad, like I said, I'm looking for removal potentially, but against this board state, I am just looking to stop the bleeding, so that you can't get through some big hits. Trying to go through my options. Probably drop something in front of the 11-11, not knowing I can't see my hand there at all, but 2 rounds left. So, okay. So we go with the Torgmai in the hopes that, the next creature I drop, I think buffs that enough to favorably remove the Dryad and stay on the board.
here's the level 2 Dreadmaw. Gain 2 health. There's the level 3 Primal Surge. Yep.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge swing. And then I think I eat something. I feel like I should eat something here.
Maybe the Dryad?
Yeah, I think it's the Dryad.
Because I'm likely going to just play something and kill the Dryad anyways. Yeah, so here's where...
And then I buff it up with my
your shapeshift.
Shapeshift. Yep.
Yeah, so I look over in my hand and I see Sigmund Fraud. So no matter what I was playing before, now my play is to put the aggressive creature in front of the stealth.
Yeah.
Which is funny because then that does not proc my Torgmai. But either way, yeah, there's no way you can let 27 go through right now.
Yeah, and I was like, if you don't got stealth, I got you. And then you're like, I play stealth. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, aggressive. Yep. Okay, so I sack my guy to do Soul Rip and buff up my Glowhive, just so that it trades out. So basically, I'm gonna take 8. With the free Swamp Moss.
Swamp Moss, yeah.
Nice.
And you're like, I had the Soul Rip I was gonna play, and you couldn't play.
Yep, there it is, and that's 14 health, which is pretty huge. So there we go. So I'm gonna lose 8 health. Yeah, down to 82. All right. So now we're going to go into the last hand of the game, and I'm up on 5 hit points. But you've got three creatures big enough that if they were to hit me, end the game, essentially. So I know in my hand I have to draw 3 creatures worth of plays at a minimum, and you can't be able to remove them. So I'm in a pretty tight spot here.
Yeah.
So shuffle up. You know, you're also off Forge, so you have the last say, which is pretty important. I think we're going to talk through my hand here for quite a bit.
Trying to go through your options.
Yep. No, got confused about the Forge. No, that was just me hoping I was off Forge for the last turn. So asking to look in there. Really, I think I'm probably, I don't know, what am I asking about? Removal, I would assume? What kind of removal options do you still have in the game? Yeah, Soul Rip. Which would be a
you're
huge
asking about
life
Soul
gain.
Rip, so my Soul Rip is only level 2.
So here I play my Shambler. Now, the interesting bit about my Shambler is that it's necrotic. So if it were to get removed, it drops a body. That's one very important piece of this puzzle that I'm trying to solve for myself. So basically, that leaves me 2 options, right? If I destroy it myself with a Dizzying Siphon or something to the effect, then I'm allowed to drop another body and play another card. But when you play the Broodfang, right, that essentially seals my fate. Because at the end of the day now, so here's where, you drop the Broodfang and I just play out my cards and say, there's basically nothing I can do, and start talking through my options. Because I'm going to Soul Reap, or not Soul Reap, sorry, Dizzying Siphon, and remove my Harvester. And it's going to drop a body, which is crucial to allow me to play another body and block the 11, which shows you only dealing 8, which at this point is not enough. But you have the Dreadmaw, which can sacrifice a creature, and Broodfang can tap to destroy my lowly 3/3 that I have to put in the lane. So I think, if I remember right, I've done all the things in my head, and I know that I've lost at this point. And just going through the motions, and just saying, hey, which one's the best one? And it's this 5/5 Wisp, and then I get to put the Primal Surge over here. But because the Broodfang doesn't hit armor, it just goes straight minus attack, minus health. I know that you can remove it at will. So this is me resigned to defeat, but and then you're going to take a look at all your cards and go through your options here.
Yeah, I was exhausted. It's fun. I have 2 ways of removing creatures in my one on the board and one in my hand. Because I have the Dizzying Siphon, and then I can just remove a creature, which then triggers the Broodfang.
Yeah. Yeah, so you had 2 ways to get it going.
Yeah. And there's the rest of my hand there, and then.
Yep. And then, so, ultimately, I think, right, you're gonna tap the Dreadmaw, remove the Batterhide, and then Broodfang, the 11/3 zombie minion. And then,
it doesn't really matter which one I pull out. Either one of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Doesn't matter. Because the 27 is just so much damage that puts you down to 60, and then Primal Surge, and then Broodfang clears out.
Yep. So this is just us talking through the end of the match, kind of going through it. Basically, you're saying, yeah, I can remove it either way, and drop you down quite a bit of health. So there it was. Really fun last match, right? Came down to the very last card played, essentially, which was the Broodfang, I think, was critical. That was the piece you needed, and really just a phenomenal match. It always is when we play these decks, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's always, I mean, I think we're about 50-50 at this point, and luckily, I guess I win the ones that matter.
Yeah,
So,
works well under pressure. Um,
yeah.
okay, well, so with that being said, we'll wrap this up. We appreciate any of you viewers out there. If you want to leave a comment or if you have some questions on some plays we made or some things we said throughout the video, please feel free to drop a comment, and like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks.
Thanks for attending this lesson with Forgeborn Finishing School. If you liked this video, please subscribe, comment, and consider donating to our Patreon account. I'm Kckid, and I look forward to our next lesson.